iiRcade has a problem. Arcade 1UP tries to fix one. And would you really use a game controller on your arcade? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of This Week, the show where we talk about what happened last week, this weekend, looks forward to the week in the future. We're just going to look way out there because there's not much going on next week. Man, kind of jonesing for another release, aren't you? Still on the high of Big Blue, not going to lie. It's better than I expected. Last couple, releases that I purchased were kind of disappointing. Big Blue, not so much. Big Blue, not so much. What are we drinking tonight? Tonight we are still drinking the Jeffersons right here. Not going to make the Jeffersons joke again because it wasn't funny the first time I said it. But very good blend, very good small batch, very good flavor. It just doesn't have a real harshness to it. I've been drinking this thing. You can see how much has gone, and it's consistent throughout the bottle. It's a good bourbon. I think if you have it in your area, look for it. If it's on sale, because it's kind of pricey for what it is, but it definitely is a smooth bourbon you can definitely drink on the rocks without any issue, any problem whatsoever. What is going on, everybody else? Man, I have been. It's kind of been a little bit of a whirlwind, actually. Had the Big Blue come out, put that together, try to get that review out. I know I was one of the last ones to do it. But that's what happens when you order from GameStop. I'm not gonna tear open that wound. I'm not gonna scratch that scab. Just gonna kind of leave that where it is. Still stings a little bit. It's my fault. It's my fault. We all know this. We all know what's going on with GameStop, and I'm just a damn fool. But anyway, lesson learned on that one for sure. I'm not gonna make that same mistake again. And yeah, so that's enough of my complaining. What is going on with everybody else in the chat? We got a few people popping in. Majin Ian, what's going on? Greetings all. Greetings to you, sir. Benji, number 2, you're in the slot, brother. Hello, all. Hello to you. Alfred Berger, hi. Smiley face with sunglasses and a thumbs up. That's his cool way of saying hi. Oh, yeah. Mega Drive Justin. Oh, yeah. Sergeant Time. What up, battle? What is a good name for a sergeant trying to start an arcade 1UP channel? Hashtag 92Fox, hashtag Sergeant Taylor, hashtag Ranger. Come on, man. You have the perfect look at these, okay? So your MOS is 92 Foxtrot. But that in and of itself is not that unique. You're watching a channel right now, it's got Fox in it. So what about look at this Sergeant, SSG, Staff Sergeant, Ranger. I mean, come on, Ranger, Sergeant. Put it together, man. If you're a wrestling fan, you can make a perfect marriage, arcade, Ranger arcade, Sergeant arcade, Ranger, Sergeant arcade, Ranger. Got a nice ring to it. But then you may have to dress like a Power Ranger. I don't know if that's what you're going for. You might want to just give it some thought, but just take those basic, just write them on pieces of paper and just move them around. Maybe even chop up the words himself. Ranger, turn to like Ranger, and then put like, so I don't know. But yeah, that's what I would recommend. Just and then bounce it all off your wife or anybody that actually cares about you. And if they laugh hysterically, don't go for that one. Mike Hawkhurst says, hi all. What's going on, man? What is going on? Papa Brad's Gaming. Hello all. How are you doing, sir? Did you change? Is that looks like a new logo, man. New avatar. Nice. Travis. Heyo. Heyo to you. Cryotech. Heyo, everyone. Hey, everyone. Glass babies? Well, they shouldn't throw rocks, should they? Just made it. Woot. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. There he is, the man, Big Reese. What's up? Let's go. And with your little emoji there, I'm gonna have the first drink of the night. Just in case you missed it, Big Reese, we're still sipping the Jeffersons. It's good. It's good. Tastes like bourbon, which is good because that's what it is. Enrique, what's up? Yo, what's up, 19? Really enjoyed the Big Blue video. Hey, man, thanks. I appreciate it. That was a lot of fun to shoot because it's nice to be pleasantly surprised. It's nice to have everything go well, and it's nice to actually, to be honest with you, it's nice to be proven wrong because I thought that thing was ugly in the renderings, but when you get it and you open it up, it's like, okay, this is not so bad. Not so bad. That control panel, that angle, I'm telling you what, on that control panel, to go in it just a little more detail, when you think about how low that thing was, and I'm fairly tall. I'm not freakishly tall, but for a tall person, 6 foot ish, when your arms are down that low, and then you have to bring your wrists up to play, it's not comfortable. But give yourself a little bit of riser, good to go. Good to go indeed. That was only bad. I think other than that, I mean, I think when you look at it, when you look at the games list, and then which that's really going to be up to you. It's very subjective. If you like those kind of games or not, if you like that mix, that's going to be up to you. But if you look at the price, you look at the fact that Marvel vs. Capcom is $550, which it was $499, but that was yesterday. That was another time. We're living in this time now, and it's $50 more. So at $550, for $50 more, you're getting more games, and everything else is the standard. Got that upgraded PCB though. Got the ability to plug in that Ethernet cord or cable. So, it's up to you. Do you feel like it's worth it? I think at the end of the day, while I don't think that any of these cabinets should really be over 500, to be perfectly honest with you. 550, I think, is probably my new max. Because I think we're getting stools regardless. I don't think they can just give us something without a stool. But no, let me backtrack. The cabinets themselves should be offered by themselves for $499. That's just the way that it should be. And then stools and all that stuff should be just optional. Add that stuff in later as you go. KJK Tex, hopefully class of 81 pre-order starts soon. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. What's up with that? Kind of weird. Kind of weird indeed. Oh, chat jumped a little bit. Let me catch back up here. Miss G, Tammy, how are you? Good evening to you. Tony C, working on a small V-pin build right now. Outstanding. Sometimes, honestly, Tony, I don't know what's more fun, playing the games or doing the builds. It's a toss-up. But man, I tell you, sometimes it's just, you can get into a zone and just enjoy the work. It's awesome. Wilson, what's going on? Blessings to you as well. Blessings to you. Juju 1, I'm still waiting on my Dark Saber from GameStop. I hope you saw the review. It's definitely different. I think the biggest thing is, if you saw the review, it's going to be the blade. It's going to be the blade, but definitely something different, definitely something unique. It's not going to be your standard run-of-the-mill saber. So if you're into Star Wars, if you're into sabers, if you just want to have a few lightsabers, it's definitely one to think about because it's so different and unique. But good luck getting your hands on one, because as you can tell by his comment, even the pre-order folks are still kind of waiting. Akuma Rev. Hey, dude, love yourself. Man, thanks. Appreciate it. And Vibe, can't wait to see you on BB. Gonna make you put your quarters on the glass. Yeah, yeah. Listen, I'm going to go and just tell you right now, don't expect much. Don't expect much. I got used to losing a long time ago, and I just have fun. Steve V's Man Cave Arcade. What's up, everyone? What up? What up indeed? Adam says, sup, gamers? How you doing? How you doing? XS Sarah 1? XS Sarah 1? What's going on, everybody? Nothing, just chilling. Talking some crazy whatnot. Mike Hawkhurst says that 6-player X-Men cab is looking awesome. Wow, thank you. I wish I had purchased that title on PS3. That's the thing. That's the one caveat. It almost, it's almost like, that's why I really wanted to lead the video with that, so that people understand, because that's the first thing you really got to have. You got to have access to the ROM in some form or fashion. You could get a PC and you could get the ROM and you can try to work it that way. This to me is, once you see it, once it's done, you're going to find that it's actually pretty easy. And I'll give you a little morsel right now. I'll give you a little hint. It's going to have more than just X-Men on it. Obviously, X-Men is going to be the marquee title. X-Men is what I'm putting out there. It's going to be built for that, 6 players, but there's going to be more games than just that. Not a ton, because I just bought, this is like a backup PS3. So I just bought that 12 gigabyte version that came out. No hard drive in it. So it's just going to be able to run just a few games. And I don't want to just slam it full of stuff. I want to have stuff that's just arcade specific. So that's all I'm going to tell you. But no, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the compliment. It's nice to get the work done and see people say, hey, that looks good. That's awesome. Majideen says, 19K Fox, hey man, you ever check out the lightsabers from no, I haven't. There's a bunch of good saber companies out there. I think there was I think Ultra Saber is one of the companies that I've actually checked out and bought one. One of the really basic models, no sound, just the standard light. Actually, no lighting effect. You just hit the button and it comes on. And I love the build quality, but man, that stuff gets pricey. Not that these are cheap, but that stuff gets pricey. Definitely does indeed. Endless One Up. What's up, Papa Brad's Gaming? You are the man. Yes, he is. He is the man. And thanks for always saying hey. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big Reese says, Steve, how are you, mate? Everybody in there saying hi to everybody. This is awesome. Cargo Bay. Turn a Rampage cannon into a Moonwalker cab. Hitting the coin up to here. Hoo-hoo is worth it alone. Nice. Yeah, that's once again, that's that arcade experience, right? You just it's tough to replicate. It's more than just holding a controller, right? Wilson says PlayStation should bring X-Men back for purchase. Listen, absolutely. Now with all this stuff is licensing hell, I'm sure. Konami is kind of, as a game company, I don't know how much you keep up with sort of these game companies currently, beyond just their retro titles. Konami's kind of hurting for cash. They're not putting out a bunch of good games, and I would think that they would, forgive my phraseology, they would be pimping out their old titles. Now, I think it's further complicated by Marvel / Disney, having those rights, trying to figure all that out. But I agree with you 100%. If Sony, in any way, shape, or form, still has some of those rights to that download in any way, they'd be foolish not to, make it available again for PS4 and PS5. Just, and people would rebuy it. It's a shame that they shut down the PS3 store, because that's, I still listen, and I don't know if anybody still games on PS3 from time to time, but a lot of those servers are still up for some of those older games that you can play online. Battlefield 19, oh geez, now I'm going to say it, I'm going to forget, 1942 or 43, one of the very first World War II games online. Those servers are still up and running, believe it or not, and I'm still horrible at it, but it's a lot of fun. Jeff, what's going on with the $5 super chat? Your skills are top notch. No, they are mid tier, but thank you for saying so. Love the detailed video. I need to hire you. Let me know if you're taking orders. Thank you so much, Jeff, for the super chat and the compliments. I really do appreciate that. Makes it all worthwhile. And because you gave the $5 super chat, let me hit you with a little bit of Jago.
I'm afraid your path ends here.
No, your path continues beyond here. You're not going to end here. You're going to keep on going. Thank you so much again for the $5 super chat. I do appreciate it. And with that, we got to get into the first topic. And the first topic tonight is iiRcade. Jumping the gun there a little bit. Mutant Football League. I have to read it because I thought it was Mutant League Football from back in the Sega Genesis days. Or maybe I've been misled the whole time, or just misremembered. Mutant Football League was one of those marquee titles coming to the iiRcade. I don't have an iiRcade. Some of you do, some of you don't. It's a multi-cade. It's different than what Arcade 1-Up is doing. There's been several. I've had a couple different iterations of multi-cades back in the day. When I moved from full-size arcades, I went the multi-cade route because that's really all that there was. And so I haven't jumped on that iiRcade bandwagon just yet. Nothing. I'm just sort of waiting for a title, a game, something that really makes me want to get it. And I will say that I'm still sort of on the fence about. I want a Double Dragon cab. You could get that with the iiRcade. They've already got the artwork and everything. Those games are there. You could definitely do that and make that work and make that fit in your arcade. But Mutant Football League was one of those, modern-ish or more modern games that was going to be a system seller. I say system seller. I think it was going to be. I need to preface that. I think that the tie-in with that title was huge. I thought that it was definitely a win for the company, without a doubt. And so much so that they were offering, this bundle. Here we go. You're going to get the game. When the game drops, you're going to get this bundle with this art, and it's all about that. And I got to say, this cab looks great. And I played the Genesis version, like I said, back in the day. Genesis, yes, that was back in the day, way back in the day. And I absolutely loved it. Back then, it was, God, I'm trying to remember who actually had the NFL licensing back then. Beyond, I think Madden was really it. So, and then like Tecmo, I think Tecmo Bowl also had some of the licensing, but you had those NFL games, and it was tough to accurately emulate or simulate the football experience back in those early 90s, late 80s. So this was a really cool spin on it, and upped the violence and did it in a cartoonish kind of way, but it was very fun. I saw some of these screenshots. I haven't played this game. I know it's available in other places. I haven't played this game yet. I actually want to give this a try, but this is one of those titles that was going to be, I say a system seller, but it's going to generate some buzz, right? It's going to get people looking at this, because the big thing with this system is that you're going to be able to play better games, more current games, and this was going to show that off. It was announced. Obviously, here's the tie-in, and then just a few days ago, Zhang had to come out on the live stream, and he was there by himself. And if you think that I'm going to be here giving them a hard time and making fun of them, I'm not. I don't have one. I don't have any skin in the game. At this point, I don't really care, because I'm not into it yet. I haven't spent $700 or $600 for this, so doesn't care. I mean, whatever. But there's a lot of people that do have this. There's a lot of people that are in this ecosystem that are enjoying it now without the Mutant Football League. I mean, maybe this wasn't a big deal for them, so they already have it. Maybe this doesn't bother them either. But I think it's a stain on the company, and I think it's a little bit worse than just we're having a hiccup, because I'm going to read you the quote, because I rewatched that stream just to make sure that I got this correct, because I was a little bit confused. So basically, the issue is not, from what he's saying, it's not with their hardware, and it's not necessarily with the software. It's an issue with the source code, that they don't have the ability to change or alter it in any way. So they have to go back to whoever owns that source code and get them to make changes. They're very hesitant to do so. So that's where it's at. But here's what Zhang said, and this is telling, because he goes through and he talks for a while, and he sort of ends the conversation with this, and then he starts to take questions from other people in the live stream. And he said, "We haven't given up yet." Let me start with a quote. Quote, "We haven't given up yet. I just wanted to let you know in case we have to." So that's rough. That's rough. They obviously got over their skis. They jumped out there, and they announced this thing too early. I think it's just that simple. Also in the live stream, he talks about how they knew there was a bug. He saw the bug. Others in the company saw the bug, knew there was a bug. And I guess they just were overconfident and thought that they could take care of it. Thought that it was no big deal, and we'll get it later. We have an awesome engineering team, and they didn't give it. They didn't take it seriously, and so they said, "To hell with it. Let's go out there anyway." That's a problem. That's a problem. And I'm not sure what the source or who the source of that would be. Somebody was trying to push this game out. Obviously, it's going to be a big title. There's a huge tie-in. They already got the artwork. They're going to sell a cab that's themed like that, ready to go. There's a problem when you're trying to push this stuff out too early. There's a problem when you set this expectation and then you cut people out at the knees, cut them off at the knees, because you knew about it. You knew about it, and you announced it anyway. Now, I will say that, and also, one more little note. He said it kind of quickly and then moved on, is that the Space Invaders Infinity is also delayed because of some of the same issues. So if you were jazzed about that, you're going to have to wait on that also. So that's an issue. And you can see here's another issue. I don't follow iiRcade as close as Arcade 1UP, so this is sold out. I don't know if this was sold out before, or they're marking it. So there's one or two scenarios here. Either This thing is sold out because everybody was jazzed and pumped about it and they got their pre-orders in and it sold out, or they've shut it down because they don't have the licensing figured out or they don't have the game released. I mean, maybe they were able to sign off on the artwork, but then why would you buy a cab that has the artwork of a game that you don't have access to? It's kind of weird, right? So Endless One Up is saying no, they marked it as sold out to stop it. Okay, well there you go. But how many people? And that's good, because I will say this: it's good on them for announcing it, obviously, but at the same time, you got to have a lot of disappointed people who put down their money and bought this, and got their pre-order in, and then now it's like they gotta sort of, with their tail between the legs, go back to their customers and say, listen, sorry, we can't give this to you. That's better than some other companies have done, because other companies have actually shipped stuff that's broken. Arcade One Up has actually shipped, famously, pinball machine, Attack from Mars, something that the community was jazzed about, with a broken table, an unplayable table. So at least I'll give iiRcade this. They were able to sort of nip this in the bud and let all their friends, all their fans know that, yes, I know you're going to be disappointed, but we're not going to give you something that's broken and make you pay for something that's broken, and then you find out later, and then we have to clean it up later. So good on them, but in some ways. But the balance has got to be this. It's got to be ready before you ship it. We can complain about delays all day long, but I would rather complain about a delay and then get a product that is polished and finished and done and good and ready, than to have this happen. To get your hopes up and then just completely squash them. Killer Instinct come to mind. I mean, now we are seeing spy photos and leaks. We're getting something not directly from Arcade One Up, but it's we're getting some signs, some ripples in the water that's coming. But just don't tell us it's coming and tell us it's ready, and without it being ready. Don't try to jump the gun. That's what YouTubers do, right? That's what the goofy speculation online. That's like something that we do. We're not necessarily professionals. We don't work for these companies. We just like to talk about it. We're fans. We're interested. We want to speculate. That's fun. That's what we enjoy. I think that's what a lot of you enjoy too, is just talking about it and then reacting to things that we see. But from a company's perspective, this has got to be locked down, because now what if, like he says, his quote, what if they have to give up? What if whoever owns the source code is not willing to make a change to make it playable on their games? What do you do? What do you do then? You just shut it down? And that's fine. Like I said, it's better to do that than to ship something that's not right. And then once everybody's purchased it, then try to fix it later. That would suck. Now they do have that the infrastructure there for downloading that I think would probably be a little bit easier to fix or to patch something with an iiRcade versus Arcade One Up. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. So that's just my 2 cents. They shouldn't have announced it, but end of the day, worst case scenario is that we have disappointed people, but they haven't lost any money. And for that, I got to kind of give them a thumbs up. Sucks. I know a lot of people are disappointed, but let me know in the comments. Is anybody, are you having an iiRcade? Were you just dying to have this? Were you really wanting to get your hands on one of these and now you're really disappointed? I don't know. What do you think? Let me know for sure. I'll look at the game like a Dead Cell, Ode Man. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm jumping into somebody else's conversation. Brad, things change. Yes, they do. Things always change. Hopefully for the better. Rubicon Alpha says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you as well. So, yeah, it's okay, Wilson. iiRcade needs to get better on the games soon. That's why I haven't purchased one. I've hit a dead end on buying any more at this point until there's something worthwhile getting. I have all their games on my Gamer Pro. You got to, I think it's funny. That's what it always comes down to, isn't it? What's one of the bigger complaints on the Arcade One Ups? Where's the games? I want this game. I want that game. We're dying for this game. Why didn't you include this game? It always comes down to the games, especially when you're talking about that arcade experience, especially when you're talking about having to justify an $800 purchase. It's just, I just don't get it. Because I think the ramifications of this issue are larger than just a singular game. They want people to take them seriously, and with the exception of there's a few arcade classics in there that are definitely great. You've got some SNK deep cuts, but there's no mainstream SNK. Could be licensing, could be the fact that there's the other machine out there that's all SNK, but that's a problem. You got Double Dragon, but you announced Mutant Football League, and where's that? We don't have that. You do have the what's going on, man? Yeah, I'm waiting on the game for iiRcade like Shred. Yeah, see, that was where I was going. Shredder's Revenge, Streets of Rage 4. .mu has partnered with them to give them a game or to bring a game to their platform. But where is the other? In my mind, those are the big tie-ins, to established franchises, true sequels moving forward, bringing that to their platform. I'm going to be honest, that's what I'm waiting for. That's gonna give them a little bit of it's gonna give them some legitimacy, right? Because if it's all just deep cuts and if it's all just these side games, and you got Dragon's Lair, which is cool, and you got Double Dragon, but if you don't get some real mainstream games, even though we can play Capcom fighters everywhere, if they had one on that platform, it would be a little more legitimate, in my opinion. If you had something like that on there, it would be what I mean. But I'm just as of right now, I'm just not seeing it. And I'm not trying to hate on them, but I'm just telling you that's why I haven't jumped on that wagon just yet. What's going on, Zohar? When are you hopping on Big Blue? Soon. I've been busy traveling. No, seriously, I've been busy with getting it together and then working on the other project video that I just dropped. And I'm actually heading to California this week for work, but I will be back. I'm doing some Wi-Fi. Where the arcade is, there's not good Wi-Fi, so I got to boost the Wi-Fi. I can't get wired internet down there just yet, but I got to get that. I want to reduce that latency so that I could win 1 or 2 matches out of 100. So, but listen, I'm gumming there. You'll see me and in all my glory, the worst win-loss record of all time, I would imagine. iiRcade, too many announcements, no delivery. Very sad. True. I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of that simple, isn't it? You can have these. I mean, the live streams are cool, and talking to your fans, I think it's great. It's something that we loved about Arcade One Up in the beginning. And there was that delay. Looks like John D's back, so that's good. But yeah, you gotta have some meat, man. Trevor says Zhang reached out to some people, and the issue may have been fixed. That would be great. That would be awesome for that community, for the fact that company has invested so much time and effort into it, and that would be great. That's about all I can say. Travis, I hope you're right, man. Because like I said, even though I don't have one, I want those of you that have it and those that have bought into it to get that. Because it just sucks. I don't want anybody to have to miss out because of some kind of weird technicality. Rubicon Alpha says, I just don't like the look of. Yeah, see, I'm with you. Just don't like the look of the cabinet, and you can't bring your own games like at Games Legends Ultimate. Yep, I'm not big. I don't like the look of it either. It looks like a bar top and a riser, which is what it is, but I just don't like the look of it. So there's that, and then there's the fact that the games just aren't there. So they do have Dragon's Lair though, and they have stuff that Arcade One Up doesn't. So they don't quite do what Nintendo don't, not quite yet, but they're good. Hopefully they're getting close. Streets of Rage 4, Shredder's Revenge. Those are some things that are going to really. Those would be game changers, and hopefully they're working towards that. Papa Brev's Gaming says they need to do less hype. Yes, moderate hype, appropriate hype, hype for hype that makes sense, right? Based on what they're bringing to the table. They could do simple game announcements that aren't crazy spectacles when the games themselves aren't that impressive. Just to be honest, we'd say, hey, we got 5 more games available. Here they are. Let's talk about it. And the list comes out, a little splash screen, and then just talk about them. Doesn't have to be the big spectacle. It could just be, hey, here they are. What do you think? keeping everybody up to date. Hollywood Polo, what's up, man? Very impressed with your attention to detail, and thank you. I appreciate it. And your 6-player cabinet project, well done. Thank you. You got this. You got this. Thanks. No, it's a lot of fun. The challenge is going to be is maintaining the look. If you, I want it to be something that we could realistically see Arcade 1-Up making. If Arcade 1-Up makes it, we're going to talk about this a little bit later. If Arcade 1-Up makes a 6-player cab, what would that look like? So next up, part 2, we're going to have the control panel. That's going to be probably the biggest thing, right? Is to get that figured out, because to sort of live within the confines of what they've given us, and if you saw my Golden Axe review, I have all 3 4-player cabs. I'm going to be looking at the overall control panel layout, which the overall dimensions are the same, but the button layout is a little bit different. I think I'll give you a little sneak peek now. I think I'm going to end up going with the button layout from Golden Axe. I actually really love that. It makes a ton of sense, because if you've got your joystick here, your action and jump buttons, you're going to press those all the time. And then your magic or your super is going to be pressed every so often. So I like having that above the other two, action and attack and jump. You're going to smash those all day long. And then you want to have your special move button, your magic button, up and out of the way, so you don't inadvertently hit it. Especially when it actually takes away some of your health, which it's just the way that it is. I hate that it does that. But when you don't have to put quarters in the machine, who cares? Who cares? So while you have iiRcade not shipping broken games, you have Arcade 1-Up shipping broken games, but you have them trying to fix it. And in that attempt to fix, we have potentially something just broken wide open, and it could be the fact that now you're using this tutorial. We're going to jump over to their website real quick, and if you go over to the firmware, you click on the firmware that you need to download. It sends you to this page, and then it gives you some tools, and it lets you know exactly what to do. And I'm going to play this video. It should be muted. There you go. I'm just going to briefly look through this. The connection has always been kind of a funny thing, because these boards continue to evolve. And then this button here, this is kind of like, if anybody's familiar with like industrial PLCs or whatever, that's like switching from run mode to program mode. So knowing what that switch does now, the fact that they use the micro USB for programming and communicating is one thing. And then the fact that they're going to give you the software. They tell you where to go to download the Phoenix Pro software, and then the files you're going to need to load up. And there you go. And of course, it took the community hours to realize, hey, why don't I just take this information? I'm just going to go ahead and take the games, or the upload patch or whatever, from the other, pinball machines. Let me just take Attack from Mars and put it in my Star Wars, like you saw Kong do. And boom, there you go. And then eventually you had other people, other hackers, other coders coming up with a little bit of a front end. And Kong's R Us, he's got that video on his channel, where you can actually play. You can select from whatever set of games you want, and you click and you go. I think this is going to blow things wide open, honestly. This is sort of the tip of the iceberg. A lot of people have been messing around with this, but this is sort of the gateway drug. I mean, and the fact that you're going to use this interface to load and unload updates. I mean, it's just a matter of time before someone's going to take this update information. They're going to reverse engineer it, and I think that I'm going to make a bold prediction. It's probably not that bold. I think it's just a matter of time. But I think eventually this is going to be used in combination with other techniques. I think we're going to see all Arcade 1-Up ROMs playable on any PCB that has the appropriate connection ports. So, for example, what I mean by which one's which, some of your Countercades, the 2nd gen, you can see right there. Let me show you I've got 2 of them here. You see down here at the bottom, you've got that micro USB connector there. And on your 1st and 2nd gen full size, 3/4. You had nothing. You remember these back in the day? You remember these? Ah, yes. Final fight. I think this is the final fight. This is my very, very sneaky final fight. But there was nothing, right? You just said you power, and that's it. You had your connection from your controller, and then it went to the your control deck, and it went up to the monitor, and that was it. Very, very simple, very basic. So there's not much you're going to be able to do here without some kind of custom harness. But I think this does blow the door wide open for all these other, PCBs that have this connection type. Once you figure out how to, how to read and write these things go back and forth, it really is just a matter of time. I mean, Very, Very Sneaky was able to do it with those first generation PCBs. So I think at this point, it's just a matter of time. And are you going to be able to put any ROM on there? I don't know. Possibly. But is it going to be, I think they're using some kind of an Android-based emulator. So can you take your MAME ROMs and just put them on there? I have no idea, but I think give it a little bit of time, and it really is. It's just, within months, maybe we could definitely see some kind of a breakthrough. So just keep your eyes and ears open. It would be interesting to see. I don't think I want a multi-cade. This is not arcade 1-ups are not multi-cades. I'll give you an example of what an arcade 1-up is, in my opinion. This is what an arcade 1-up is. This is my Street Fighter Alpha anthology, and it's got 5 games on it, and they're all Alpha games, all Street Fighter Alphas, with the exception of Super Gym Fighter. This is what an arcade 1-up is. You have a collection, an anthology in this case, of a very, very specific genre or type of game. Maybe all the games in a series. You have 5 to 10 to 12 games, whatever, on an arcade 1-up. The important thing is they're going to have to be similar. They're going to have the same control scheme, because remember, as that unique arcade experience is reliant heavily on your control panel, your controls, the setup of the physical layout of the arcade 1-up itself, or the arcade machine itself. And if you deviate wildly from that, you get some weird stuff like Paperboy on your, Mortal Kombat Midway Legacy cab. It doesn't fit at all, not even close. It's just weird. So I bring up that point because, are we going to be able, or would we even want to take every game? Let's say for whatever reason, you can only play the ROMs that were officially released by Arcade 1-up because of some kind of embedded code or whatever, something, right? Some kind of a keystroke in there that just you can't add, right, to any other ROM. Would I want to take every single ROM that is currently available from Arcade 1-up and throw it on a single PCB, Big Blue? Throw it on Big Blue and play that? No, I wouldn't want to do that. I mean, I don't like what they did with the Legacy cabinet for the Midway. The games list on the Midway Legacy cab I don't like because I made the example, Paperboy. What the hell? Paperboy? With the Mortal Kombat setup is weird. I just don't get it. That's why you got arcades like Burger Time, very specific control scheme, and that's what it's designed for. That's what it is, right? And that's what makes it fun. But I would love to take this cab and put Punisher on it. I would love to take that console game off, and I've said this before, I know, and I'm preaching to the choir, but I would love to take that stupid console game off and put Punisher on. And I think that would work well for this cab. Or in a perfect world, if I could take off that stupid console port and put Alien vs. Predator on that cab and have the Versus cab. The whole Capcom Versus series on one cabinet, that would be amazing. That's what I would want to do. But that's a ROM that's not available yet. So I don't know. We'll see. But I think that it could be a lot of fun. I think it could be interesting to I'm just interested to see what the hacking community comes up with, because we always find a way, don't we? Life finds a way, and love finds a way, and your love of games finds a way. That's for damn sure. What's going on, Kong? How's it going, man? Hi, folks, and hi to the chat. How are you? P-Dub, what's up, brother? How you doing? I didn't follow those steps, Fox. I followed Kong's RS and magically had 30 games on my pimp. That's so weird. It's crazy. You didn't follow those steps specifically lined out by Arcade 1-up? It's so weird. How dare you go to some other YouTuber? Why would you want 30 tables on your Arcade 1-up when you can have 10 very specific games on? Why would you want 30? I don't know. So weird. Yeah, I think that would be. I think that'd be awesome. Honestly, something like that. I've already checked Facebook Marketplace. I'm looking for an arcade one-up pinball machine. I'm just saying, I'm not paying the sale price of $750. I'm not doing that. But if I could find one local, used in good shape for maybe $500, now that we know these exploits are out there, and luckily I've got some good friends in the community that have given me that stuff, just because I know it's going to disappear from the internet soon, I would imagine. Yeah, I would totally be down with that. And it actually is kind of cool to have it separated into 3 sections, right? To have your Star Wars, pinball game, that 10 pack, similar to, I don't know, the way At Games does it. That's so weird. It's weird, huh? It's as if they got a good thing going, don't they? Brett says, I almost had a heart attack twice with you with your giveaways. You're talking about mine or somebody else's? 30 tables and 720p, still not worth the price of an Arcade One machine. That's true, but don't forget that awesome 24-inch monitor. Maybe awesome's the wrong word. maybe awesome's the wrong word. Yeah, 720p is not good. Not good at all, but I can't imagine that we're not going to see a hardware revision for those arcade or those pinball machines. I can't imagine they're just going to roll with what they got for now. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Mike Hawkhurt says, I think if you buy Simpsons / X-Men or TMNT, you might end up with the 4-player games from all those available. Yeah, see, exactly. That's what. Remember, we were all speculating that we could potentially get the Konami cab, and it would have the Simpsons, and it would have TMNT, and it would have, X-Men on it, and that would have been the greatest cab ever, which it would be. Why wouldn't this also happen? It's possible. And now that we've got the second version of TMNT, and those make their way out, that is very possible. And I think that would be an awesome cabinet. And that, to me, you got to get rid of. Yeah, Simpsons Bowling be the only exception. I would get rid of. I would ideally. I think what I would have wanted Arcade One Up to do is to do that cabinet minus the. Because what I'm thinking about now is I'm thinking about the different variants that they're doing with the legacy cabs. So what if they got rid of the trackball, so there's no bowling? I'm not knocking on bowling. I'm just saying, just for my hypothetical, let's get rid of that. Let's just have a 4-player cab, and it has X-Men, and it has Simpsons, and it has Ninja Turtles. You don't even have to include Turtles in Time, but I think it'd be nice to have that on there. And then you offer reskins of each one. Same cabinet size. It's got the games on it. It's got the same control panel, obviously, 4 players, but you have reskins available for each one. That would kind of make a lot of financial sense for them also. So what you could do is you could get that and just get the skins you want. It's basically what they're doing now, except you have to physically buy different games. So if I want Simpsons, I got to get Simpsons. If I want TMNT, I got to buy TMNT, but nobody's going to do that at $700, $800. So you're going to end up buying one, and that's it. You're going to have to pick your favorite one, and you're going to buy it. And that's good. Well, that's as good. I guess this is it. Or, I mean, I think, how many cabs do you think you're going to sell? You make the same cab, the same PCB, the same games list, and it just comes with different graphics. I think it would be a huge success. And if you're going to charge $700, but you're going to get those 3 badass games, that's awesome. But I know everybody's going to scream licensing. And I know that's legit. I'm not trying to knock on it. It is a legit concern. It may even be a legit impossibility to combine those games together. Just because Konami is the publisher doesn't mean the people that own the rights are going to be getting along all hunky-dory. You got Nintendo and you got Disney. So maybe not. Or not Nintendo, Nickelodeon. You got Nickelodeon, which is Viacom, and then you get Disney. So those 2 things bumping heads, probably not going to work out. Probably not going to work out well at all. So Kongzo Rush shows us all. Yes, he shows us the way. Ernie Rodriguez says, like Capcom with their collections. Exactly. Like, it's like these compilation discs we used to get back in the day for our PlayStation 2s and PlayStation 3s, HD remixes and all that. But this is basically what we're getting whenever we get an arcade one-up, and it makes sense. Yeah, it's not one game, but you can get several games that are within the same genre. It makes this same control scheme and all that. So that's the way I sort of compare and contrast, because we talk about, well, if an arcade one-up has more than one game, doesn't that make it a multi-cade? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. To me, a multi-cade just encompasses just a ton of games, hundreds of games, different control schemes, wildly different graphical styles and all that. So at least with something like Marvel versus Capcom, all of them, with the exception of the stupid, console port, is this CPS2 platform. Capcom's CPS2, and that just makes sense. And all those within that same family, they're all fighting games. Makes sense. I really want a CPS3 cab though. Man, I just want to see. I want to play Red Earth. I want to play Street Fighter 3, first strike. I would love it. Absolutely love it. I know others might like that as well. P-Dubs, I said, I see where this is going. 19K Fox is going to finish the bourbon, hack all his one-ups, wake up the next morning and panic. No. I will be strong. I have 2 cabs. 3. Okay, well, I have 3. I have 3 cabs that are hacked, and the other ones will remain untouched. I would bawl my eyes out if I woke up and I saw Star Wars manipulated in any way. I would be a crying baby, curled up in the fetal position on the floor, shocked at what I had done. Dr. Freeman 777, yeah, baby, indeed, yeah to the baby, whoever the baby is. Vic Vicious 75, great ideas, and now get Scott back on the phone ASAP. Scott, let's talk. You, me, let's make this happen. Let's make it happen indeed. So one thing I wanted to talk about, another topic I want to talk about. So I did a video about plugging in a USB controller into the USB port on your Big Blue. What does that do? We thought that it might be. I had some comments like, "Hey, what do you think that is?" And I it's difficult to say because that could be the programming port. But then you got the micro USB. So, and then the firmware updates came out, I think after my video, but why all these ports? And it sort of made sense. Well, okay, so then the data maybe would make sense. That would be on the micro USB port. So then that would leave the USB port for information or storage. Well, no, because you got a micro SD card slot, so that would make more sense. So that's like, okay, well, let's plug one in and see what it does. And if you saw that video, basically you plug in the 2 USB controllers that I had, and there's other ones out there that may work a little bit, but maybe do different things. But for the mapping on my USB controllers, I was able to manipulate the main menu screen, and everything up, down, left, right, it all made sense. It all did what it was supposed to do. You can navigate through all that. You can make changes and all that. But when you got into the game itself, wouldn't register anything. You couldn't do anything with it. So, but then it got me, as I was sitting there testing this out, I got the video going, I'm filming it and then I'm playing. I'm like, what am I doing? Why would you really want, if you had the opportunity, if you had the option, would you really want to use a game controller on your arcade machine? I mean, would you really want to do that? I mean, I thought about this, like, well, okay, well, so let's say you did that because maybe the control scheme was weird, or maybe you had a really good controller and it's a fighting game and you want to use this for your fighting games, so you can have that edge. But then why? But then you're not really playing on the arcade machine. You're really just using the arcade machine as a monitor. That's kind of weird. Now, the only exception is going to be, for as far as arcade one-up is concerned, the only exception would be the Ninja Turtles cab, the 2-player Countercade Ninja Turtles cab. And the idea being that this is a nice small little cabinet, and we just couldn't fit 4-player on it, but we'll include this USB port on the side just in case you wanted to add another controller, which in itself is a little bit silly because you got an 8-inch screen. 2 people crowding around an 8-inch screen is doable, but I think if you have a third or fourth controller, or 4 controllers there, it would just be a little bit crazy. And then I'm thinking, well, okay, if it's just one USB connector, why would you? So you're just going to have a 3rd player? So that's weird. But then I started noticing no mention of the USB port in some of the listings I saw. like at Target and Walmart and all that. So I thought I'd come back to Arcade One Up to see what's, maybe they give me the skinny, what's going on. And if you scroll down here, the games list is still the same 2 games. Click on the specifications, scroll down, and their phraseology is, oh yeah, and there's huge counter appeal. This is kind of weird. Huge counter appeal, way beyond the authentic gameplay, which is their way of segueing into all these crazy features they're about to tell you about, featuring the full-size real feel controls, which is their buttons and their joysticks, a vibrant 8-inch screen, which I'm hoping is better than the other screens we have on our Countercades, light up marquee, which we knew about, headphone jack, no mention of that USB port. But it's in the renderings, which we understand the renderings are not always accurate. There it is, right there in this rendering. We assumed, we were hoping that maybe that was going to be for another controller, because that would justify, in some ways, it would justify the cost of this particular Countercade being a 2-player, being $230, just like $230, just like all the other ones, but only having 2 games, where every other one has 4 games. And I also pointed out, you also physically have fewer buttons. You have less buttons, so that's less hardware. So why in the hell is this cost just as much as everything else? And then I speculated, and others have too, is that, well, okay, well, maybe you got the USB port on the side. There's some money, there's some costs there, and it allows you to turn this effectively into more than just 2 players, but at least 3, maybe even 4. But now there's no mention of that USB connector whatsoever. So then why the cost? Why $230? If you're just going to have 2 games, I mean, I just don't get it. The games list, the original games list that we saw that was leaked, that included 2 of those other games. I think it was Vendetta and some other game. But you had 4 Konami beat-em-ups that were 4-player. So you got the 2-player setup. I'm assuming all those would be selectable. That made a little more sense to me than having that USB port on the side. But if you take the USB port away and you still don't add those 2 games, that really makes that a tough sell, in my opinion. Now, I do have the other one on order, the Marvel Superheroes on order. So I'm excited about that one. I can't wait to get my hands on that, because the Punisher, sad, but the Punisher is pushing me to buy another Countercade. I think I have too many already. I've got 2 modded. I've got 1 Super Pac-Man. I just don't play that much. But to be fair, in the arcade, I don't currently have a counter to put them on yet. Oh, Steph, how you doing? My nerdy home sends me a super sticker, and if I look over here in the chat, it is a fox hugging a heart. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for the $10, Steph. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much for stopping by. Always brightening up my day. And I got to hit you with a little bit of this. Here you go.
Target spotted. This should be quick. Finish!
Thanks again so much for the super chat. And that warms my heart. You warm my heart. You make me happy. Just like the little fox hugging the heart. That's me. Justin, what's up? Or Jason, what's up, brother? I wish they used the Mortal Kombat artwork. Yeah, Mortal Kombat 1 artwork on the MK2 Countercade. Yeah, there's still that hiccup with the rights of the actor that was portrayed on that artwork. I don't know all the ins and outs about it, but yeah, it's at this point though, on the now that I think about this, I don't know why I haven't put this together before. Probably because I'm challenged. They reshot some of the artwork for the Ninja Turtles cabinet, the original Ninja Turtles cabinet that they released. I think they redid some of those images. They shot new pictures of different actors, I think. So why wouldn't you theoretically just do the exact same art, but use the image of another actor, similar in size, but just to sort of get that feel? Would that be too disingenuous? What do you think, Jason? Let me know in the comment section. What do you think about that? Would you be cool with that? An artist rendering of a different actor, or maybe taking a picture of a different actor and putting him on there, but then still be able to mimic that same style. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Rubicon Alpha says it's going to pass on the Countercades. Just seems pointless other than collecting. Yeah, I think ideally I've got a couple that I picked them up. Now I got these for cheap, $50. Remember they're like the fire sale on Walmart.com. Got those for $50. Modded them and had a lot of fun with those because it's a challenge because they're small. And then I have the new version. I got the Super Pac-Man with the lip marquee. That was cool to check out. I would definitely get one of the 2-player versions because of the different form factor. That's kind of interesting. Come back here for my review. I'll let you know exactly what I think of it. Let you know if it is worth buying. But yeah, I think beyond that, I think ideally, if you're not going to mod any, maybe you just have two. You have the single 1-player version or the single player version, and then you have one of the 2-player versions just to kind of get a feel for it, just to maybe have something kind of cool. I think you're right for collecting. If you have like the Marvel looks really good, get that. Maybe if you want to have a Ninja Turtles, I could see this small Ninja Turtles 2-player cab next to your full size Ninja Turtle cab, kind of as just a display piece. Maybe you don't have a lot of 3/4 scale in your collection. This would make a great companion piece to that. Same thing with the Mortal Kombat, same thing with the NBA Jam or whatever. And if you had that original Marvel Countercade, same thing. I could see that definitely being, like I said, just more of a companion piece to that. But I think as your primary source of gaming, this could be the gateway drug for some. This could be a way for some people to get into it. Maybe they don't have the room for the big, maybe they don't have quite the cash now because these damn things are so expensive to jump in full with both feet. But maybe you start here. But yeah, I mean, once you've got the 3/4 scale, there's not a big need for them. But I'm interested to see just one, how it works. Is it stable? And then two, what can we do with it? Can we mod it? Would it be worth it to even bother modding? But I think there's some fun to be had. But yeah, I definitely get your point though. I think a lot of people feel the way you feel, for sure. Tammy says Defender controls have to be right, or the game isn't worth playing. You're exactly right, Tammy. And the fact that you're just going to reskin it, it doesn't do it justice. I think you're going to reskin it, but you're going to leave all the controls exactly the same. That's the problem with some of these compilations, with some of these legacy cabs. 12 games have to be pretty much the same style of game with few exceptions. I think you can have Street Fighter and Final Fight on the same cab because it's almost the same button layout, just with fewer buttons, right? So you can pull that off and you're not losing anything from the overall experience. But to have like Smash TV and Street Fighter on the same, that doesn't make any sense. Defender is even that much more. The problem with you're gonna have Defender on a control panel that's made for Mortal Kombat, but Mortal Kombat is the art on the cab, right? So you almost kind of subconsciously you sort of understand, okay, this is a Mortal Kombat cab that happens to have Defender. But when you reskin it with Defender and you're telling me this is a Defender cab, but it has the control layout of a totally different game, it just doesn't make any sense. So if you're jonesing for a Defender cab, but the controls are all screwed up, what's the point? What's the point? I don't get it. Brad, Defender is smooth on Midway. That's from the Big Reese himself. Jason said, I'd be cool with that, I think. Yeah, I think. Listen, we're not talking about 1-to-1 reproductions. We're talking about 3/4. And so if you got to change the artwork slightly, because I think that, because I'm with you, like the side art was good on the Mortal Kombat 1 arcade, but the control panel, the layout with the dragon, that was cool, man. I like that. So yeah, I think it would be worth making a slight alteration to get that overall theme, not just the side art, but the overall theme too. So that would just be kind of, that's what I want. I want all 80s row of 1-ups. You want an all 80s? Okay. I could see that. I could definitely see that. The Defender cab looks great. It does look great. The controls are always going to be the crux. That's always going to be the issue, right? ACS Rocks Esports says Countercade is a space issue. Where do you put them? It's funny you bring that up, and one of the selling points, quote unquote, is that it's smaller and it saves space if you have open countertop space. If you have open countertop space, which in a typical household, even if you've got a bar in the man cave or whatever, or if you've got a bar in the family room, whatever, it's you don't really have a ton of room. I think that's usually reserved for people sitting and having drinks. These 2-player countercades are going to kind of take up some space. So it's funny. You actually make a good point. Yeah, they're space savers if you have the space, if you have a spot for it. They kind of necessitate a riser. It's kind of weird, I know. Andrew's Clay Creations and more. I don't think that works for the Mortal Kombat cab, okay? Because it's the same actor that's in the game. It would be weird to have someone else on there. True. That's another valid point of view. It would be kind of weird. It definitely could not be a drastically different character. You would have to get somebody that looks very similar and work that out with legal. I'm not sure what it's obviously an issue that's preventing them from using that, but it's definitely a damn shame because I think a lot of people are jonesing. I mean, a ton of people want to have that original Mortal Kombat 1 artwork on their cabs. This is not the first time this has come up. Won't be the last either. Peter McNabb says, I'm getting the Defender reskin, so I hope its controls and plays well. Nice cab. It's a good-looking cab. I hope that the controls don't disappoint. There's a learning curve there, but once you figure it out, I'm sure it's like anything else you can make do. But it is a Mortal Kombat control scheme. It just is. And there's really no way to get around that. None at all. None at all. Pop says, I hate that glue they dump all over the PCBs. You talking about which one? Oh, you're talking about the. Are you talking about the countercades? Because the countercades, where they make all their connections, they do put some glue on that. And on the 3/4 scale, they actually put a little bit of hot glue on the encoders where the wires come in from all the buttons. So if you want to take that out and mod that, you got to kind of deal with that. You got to contend with that. Tetris cab coming next month. Yeah, so you're talking about the At Games Mini. I'm interested to see how that works out. That was something that At Games has done that I've been interested in. Pinball, I'm still kind of on the fence about that too. I mean, because it's a lot of money. I'm more of the upright stand-up variety, but I've also got my driving cab I'm working on that I'm excited. I'm trying to focus on the 6-player before I jump over to that. But I may have a lull where I get to a stopping point on the 6-player, waiting on artwork to show up. I may have to jump back on that. And but yeah, it's interesting. I like the form factor. Obviously, I like the 3/4 scale. I'm not sure what the games list is going to be. We'll see. We'll see. They have kits to swap the Defender controls out already. That's good, but Arcade 1-Up should do that, Brad, right? Arcade 1-Up should have that. Arcade 1-Up should say, listen, here's a different control deck. I mean, I don't know how they're playing this. They were going to have, this was going to be the Legacy cab. This is going to be the Evergreen cab, but now it's got different skins. So what are you trying to do? Are you changing things up a little bit? And if that's the case, if you're going to reskin it, why don't you have a different control panel scheme? But I know that wouldn't work for Mortal Kombat. So would you have an option to buy a separate control deck? I don't know. But I'm assuming you're talking about the third or the aftermarket, some third-party solution, trying to come in and kind of fix what Arcade 1-Up kind of messed up. Steven C., what's up? Lock and load, Fox. We're going in. Yes, we are. We are going in. We're going to save the day. Thank you so much for the super chat. I do appreciate my Canadian brother. And you know what? Here you go. Poor Captain America. I say it every time. Thank you so much for the super chat. I do appreciate it. And I got to talk about one more thing before we go. Last topic of the night. Something I really want to talk about. I'm very interested. So for those of you out there, hopefully you've had a chance to take a look at the video that I posted or I put up this morning. It is the Arcade 1-Up 6-player CAD that I'm building. I'm really excited about it. It's kind of a passion project. Way back when, I don't know, it's probably months ago, when they announced the X-Men cabinet. And let me go ahead and put this up. I got to be on the up, and I got to be straight with you. Got to have my disclaimers. Boom. Let's put that up there. Okay. Back when they announced the original 4-player X-Men, I made a video saying, "Hey, are we actually looking at the 6-player version? Are they hiding the 6-player version in plain sight?" And my point is, and then I did a mock-up of a 6-player control deck, and I put it on my standard Ninja Turtles Arcade 1-Up to try to sort of simulate, get a feel for it. And the point that I made is that it was possible, if you push the players out enough, it was possible to crowd 6 people around a 17-inch monitor, and it was actually doable. Was not ideal at all, but it was doable. Definitely doable. So now I started this, but then I realized, like, listen, you got to go with a bigger monitor. You got to go to a different screen. You can't do that. So I started making mine. And then I've had some conversations with others out there. And I believe that the 6-player cabinet from Arcade 1-Up is coming. I think Arcade 1-Up is going to make a 6-player version. This is my speculation. This is based on just hints and things that I've seen. And I'm sort of putting this together myself. Nobody's told me this. And John D's not calling me up on the phone. I'm not talking to anyone at Arcade 1-Up. I'm just seeing the telltale signs of a 6-player cabinet coming. So what could they do? So what would that look like? Well, I'm trying to give you a good idea of what that would look like by my build. And I'm enjoying that. I'm using a 27-inch monitor. The reason I bring up the 27-inch monitor is because what that does is, if you have a 27-inch monitor and you have enough meat on the monitor support panel, enough to kind of support that pushes you beyond 24 inches. Now, why is that significant? Because the wood itself, for all your center panels, if you stay under 24 inches, it makes all your cuts that much easier, because you typically get all your cuts. You buy your material in sheets of 4x8. It's possible that Arcade 1-Up gets it in different ways, different variations, but industry standard stuff is going to be 4x8 sheets of MDF. So if you can keep that overall width within the confines of 24 inches, you'll be good to go. So right now I've got a 27-inch monitor, and my center panels in that Arcade 1-Up are 26 inches. So it's just a couple inches out of that. So this is what I think may happen. There's 2 different ways they could approach this. You could go arcade specific, really try to recreate the look of what we had before. Let me pause for just 1 second and give a shout out to Travis, $4.99, showing me some love. Man, he ain't got to say nothing. He's just like, listen, here you go. Here's a super chat, and I appreciate it. And I'm going to pause just 1 second and pay you some respect, because I appreciate you, man. And thank you for the $5. And here you go.
Please! Dramatic finish!
Goku isn't the only Super Saiyan. There's another one right here.
Trunks! Win!
Thank you so much, Travis, for the super chat. I do appreciate it. You, sir, are a badass. Mega Drive Justin sneaking in here with a $10 super chat. Have to feed the 19K rant machine. A little bit of a rant tonight. I'm ranting just a tad bit. That's a fair assessment by you, Justin, you Mega Drive badass. I'm just going to throw that term out there. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate it, and I got to give you a little bit of special love. $10. You know what? I like this one. Here you go, brother.
What? I'll put you out of your misery.
Gohan!
Is that all you got? Don't give up now!
Thank you, sir. I do appreciate it, man. That's awesome. Keeping the lights on here for sure. So back to the rumor. This is my theory, right? This is just me. Like I said, I'm looking at this. I think that what you could do, you could go this a couple different ways. You could go arcade specific, which in the arcade, there were two separate monitors pushed together, and that's how you got that wide image. You could take two 17s and put them together. That's one way to do it. Or you could go with a 24-inch monitor that they currently are using on their pinball machine and the Infinity game table. So that's one way they could do it. Push a couple 17s together. Maybe you take a 24, lay it on its side, horizontal, and you do it that way. There's also the outside possibility that they could use that 32-inch that they're using on that on the big Infinity game table. That's a possibility. I seriously doubt that that's going to happen, because I think that once you do that, the wood cost is going to go through the roof. So let's say they go with the 24-inch or two 17s or whatever, and they can keep that within the 24 inches. That would cut the wood cost down. So you're going to widen that thing out by what is that? Your center. So your control deck is 19. You're going to come in an inch. So I think your center support panels are like 17 and a half inches, let's say. So you're going to bump that out to 24 or less. What's that going to do to the price? Pricing is weird. Pricing is weird because I always use the Ninja Turtles cab as an example. They're going to charge the same price for two games and physically fewer controls. Just two buttons per player. Big Reese likes the two 17s. Yes, you would have the seam, but we remember the seam. The seam was always there, right? So two 17s, okay, could rock that. But I always use the Ninja Turtles cab as the example of they're not afraid to charge you for less. Fewer games, fewer controls, same price as The Simpsons, sometimes more expensive. Crazy. What's up, Snowdub? How you doing? Snowdub has great advice. He's got great advice, and we should all listen to him. Please, if you're in here right now, 61 in the chat, smash that like button. It definitely helps out the channel, helps out this stream for sure. So I think that if you're going to double, if we go with the two 17s, I think that's going to double their cost. Economically, here's what I think they would do. They would take a 24-inch monitor, pinball machine monitor, turn it on its side. That's what we would have. And I think, now what would this cost? I think that if you look at the current pricing, let's jump over real quick to Arcade 1-Up. Let's check this out. Let's see what it would be. What would it be? Let's take a look at what's the most expensive for. I think it's actually. Is it? Yeah, it's so this is. Yeah, this is the X-Men here. This is your 4-player, 17-inch monitor, and that's going to be your most expensive. Yeah, that's your most expensive. So you're looking at $699, $700. If they don't double the price on the monitor, which would make sense, just go with the single monitor. The 24-inch, you add two more controls. What would that price look like? Same cab, $699, wider screen, additional controls. Do you think that? I think this is my thought would be it would be $850. They've already established that price point in the marketplace, $850 for their pinball machines. I think that this is my prediction. Rumor right there, generated by myself. I think that the 6-player cabinet is coming. It will have a 24-inch horizontal monitor, and the price point will be $850, $150 more than the standard cab. Same games list. I don't think they would change the games list. I think it's going to be the same cab, same artwork, 6 players, 24-inch monitor. That's my prediction. Boom. Take it to the bank. Well, I don't know about all that. It's something to think about. What do you think about it? That's my crazy idea. What are your thoughts? I've already got a bidder up here. Tammy thinks it could be as high as $899. That would set a new precedent for sure. Now we would talk about a $900 cab. If you go through Arcade 1-Up, you got to pay that shipping and tax. Would you pay $1,000, $1,000 for a 6-player cab? That's a big ask. $1,000? I don't know. I got to tell you, that would be a tough pill to swallow. But you're talking about an extremely unique experience. 6 players, ready to go, out of the box. It would be crazy. It would be if there's anything that would be the centerpiece of an arcade, using arcade 1-up components, wouldn't that be it? What else could they do? What else could they possibly do? They've already got the 4 players out there. They've already got the shooting cabs. They've already got the racing cabs. What else would be the centerpiece of your collection? If you were an arcade 1, or maybe you just wanted to have that arcade experience, going for the most unique, would it be the 6-player at, let's go with Tammy's price, $900? I think $850 is sort of a preparatory number. They do that out there to prepare us for that, for one-offs, for crazies, for 6-player cabs. Is it a crazy prediction? Perhaps, but that's what we do here. It's YouTube. We speculate. Did you notice that my glass was empty?
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
It is that time to wrap this thing up. Lots of cool stuff going on. Got the 6-player cab going on. I'm excited to continue to get that going. Really working out how those 6 players are going to line up. Artwork is going to be, I've got several orders in. I've got multiple orders at different locations for artwork. I want to get that pulled, get that together, and then get that video to you. I can't wait to show you what I got going on in my head. A couple different things. I will show you this. This is going to be some of the great things you can expect. Look at that. Different colored cables. I know your mind right now is blown. You can't even deal with that right now. I know. It's crazy. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at on that. The next cab that I have pre-ordered is The Simpsons. After all my theorizing that the bowling would never show up on that, they claim it's going to happen. So I can't wait to get my hands on that. That's going to be in November. The 2-player cab, or the 2-player Countercade, Marvel. I've got that set up. It is pre-ordered. It is ready to go. They're telling me early October. So let's be on the lookout for that. And I'm definitely going to give a thorough review on that. We're going to open it up. We're going to check it out. So anyway, thank you so much for stopping by, everybody. Y'all have a blessed day, and I will see you next time.